Hello and welcome everyone. I am back with quite a few things to talk about. I have one finished object and 5 works in progress. My finished object is not knitting or crochet, however, it is another finished cross-stitch project. I was not expecting to have this one done today, and I left the name of the designer out of my reach again, because I do not want to forget to say who designed this pattern, because it was definitely not me. So, this is a cross-stitch pattern by Little Plastic Covers that is Lauren Marino. And I started this one getting close to a year ago. It is one of 3 projects that was left over from last year. And I finished it. So this is my finished cross stitch. It says simply, I have a degree. I'm planning on hanging it up next to my desk at work. The back, I'm not entirely happy with how it's finished yet. I tried to do the little pull it tight, but I wasn't able to pull it tight enough. And even pulling it tight, it's still a little bit bubbly. So I'm considering gluing the edge and trimming it just really, really short so that it will be able to lie on up against the wall when it's hung up a little bit better. But I did not want to make that decision right now, especially because then I would not really be able to show this right now. It would have wet glue on it if I had done that. So I may end up adding some glue this afternoon and then trimming it later, but this will hang next to my desk at work. I started it as I was finishing my field work and getting ready to test for my BCBA. And then after I finished, I kind of put it down for a little while. And then 2 weeks ago, I know I mentioned on here, I may want to start working on that again. And it went really fast. I only worked on it over the weekends. So the last time I showed this, forever ago, it had the words and then some of the flowers and greenery. And I just decided, let me just start working through the colors. I'll just do some of these flowers and then we'll see where we get from there. And so I just started filling in the flowers, and I would pull each color out of my set as I finished, so I was watching it dwindle down, which ended up being very, very motivating for me. And now I will be able to take this into work next week and put it next to my desk, and it will just make me smile because I have technically had a master's degree since 2015. I should remember that easier, but it's been a while. But I definitely remember seeing this a long time ago and thinking about making it. And then even though I already had my master's degree, I didn't feel like saying I have a degree and hanging this up at work when I didn't have my correct certification. It felt like it would be slightly misrepresenting my qualifications, even if what I have to do my job is both a degree and something else. It just felt weird only representing one and kind of leaving out the other part. So now I have both, and I will be able to advertise it at work. It makes me smile because it's got the flowers and it's pretty and it's got that traditional look and just something kind of like a silly little brag, for lack of a better term. So yeah, that is my only finished object. I did briefly think I was going to have no finished objects to share today because I only finished that one this morning. I do have quite a bit of progress made on other projects, and the next one I'll show is my half-finished object. So this is my pair of socks. The color is from Blue Barn Fiber, and it is the colorway September Aspens. I kind of wanted to finish this before September ended, but I'm going to have to settle for half finished because I am filming on the 29th and I am not going to completely finish the other sock today and tomorrow. I probably could if I didn't have anything else to do, but unfortunately I am recording, I'm going to edit, and I'm going to go to work, so not quite enough time. So I did finish the first sock, 1x1 rib, 40 rounds on the leg. I did a ribbed heel with the heel flap and gusset, and then a rounded toe. And I am past the ribbing on the second sock. I have not put another marker in, but I would guess I have about 11 or 12 rounds I'm usually pretty good at being like, I'm getting close to 10 rounds and being pretty close. I think I've passed the first 10 rounds, but I don't know for sure because I haven't counted it yet. So I should be able to finish it within the first week or so of October. This should be done before we meet again, but I don't think I'm going to finish it before the end of the month, which is a little bit sad, but I will persevere. My next project that has gotten a lot of attention is my Twisted Rib t-shirt. So these are using yarns from the Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club by So Happy Jane, and I have, each month there's 2 colors and they're both named the same. So 2 of the colors are named Road Trip and 1 is 100 Acre Woods. I do remember enough to be able to point out which is which. It's always kind of inside out when I'm working on it, so I have to flip it back around. So this is actually the back. And where we were last time is right here with this little fox drinking his, I don't know if it's supposed to be cocoa or coffee. For me, it's probably coffee. So I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 full stripes, and I am on another stripe. I've got 5 rounds onto that. So when this pattern is supposed to be cropped, I am not a huge cropped shirt person. The shirt I am wearing today is cropped, but that's a little different. Most of the time I'm not wearing cropped shirts, and I did not want this to be too cropped because I want to be able to wear it to work if I choose to. Sorry. Ugh. And if it's too cropped, I would not be comfortable wearing it to work because I'd move and it would go from kind of cropped to very cropped. I'm also just a little bit longer in the torso, so I tend to need slightly longer stuff anyways. So when I measured this out based on one of my favorite shirts, I calculated it out as wanting to have 7 of each stripe before I did the ribbing. And that was probably going to be a little bit too much. It may have ended up kind of accidentally being tunic length, but just based on how long each of these stripes were and how long one of my favorite shirts was, that was how long I needed it to end up being. I have done 5 stripes of this. This is the 100 Acre Wood. Sorry, I forgot to point that out. And then this one and the ribbing are both Road Trip. So I have done 5 rounds after the armpit of 100 Acre Woods. And this is all I have left. This is about, I believe, 9 grams. I weighed it and then promptly forgot how much. But I had calculated out that I needed approximately 12.5 grams for each stripe. So not enough to do another stripe. I am 5 rounds into the last stripe of this, and I have a little bit more of the Road Trip than the 100 Acre Woods because the Road Trip did the neck shaping on the back. So there's a little bit more. I'm going to easily be able to get the last 5 rounds of what the normal stripe would be, and I'm hoping I could make the final stripe of this color 15 rounds. So it would be that last drop at the bottom would be just a little bit longer than all the others, and I think at the bottom that's not going to look weird. If it was randomly in the middle, it would look weird. Or if it was like the last 2 stripes. So if I had tried to add this in on the last stripe of the other one, it would look weird. If I tried to make a small stripe just to get the extra length, I feel like it would look weird. But I feel like trying to get an extra 5 rounds out of this last color won't look odd. It'll just look like the stripe pattern ended. And then if I can get, I know I could do a whole bunch, but my sleeves are 20 rounds, and I had planned on doing 20 rounds. Or are they 25? Yeah, they're 20 rounds. So I had originally planned on just making my bottom ribbing match, but I figure I can easily do 25 rounds at the bottom, and that's going to get me at least 1 more stripe, and I'm hoping that will be enough that once everything is blocked out, it's not so cropped that I don't feel like I can ever wear it, because we are at a point, I'm not going to pull it out and add a 3rd color in. And, when I hold it up against me, and I like, because of the cable, I can't fully try it on whenever, but whenever I'm doing any of that trying on, I feel like I'm going to be able to sneak out just enough to have it still be comfortable, whether it's a work shirt or not. I don't think it's going to be so cropped I can't wear it, But I'm definitely a little sad that my plans were not quite where I thought they would be. So that is where this shirt is. Now that I am so close to the finish, I'm probably going to be doing everything I can to kind of push through and finish that one because I just really want to see it done. Like, I'm hoping I can finish that other stripe today and then get working on the ribbing and the twisted rib bind off and hopefully have that shirt done before this weekend. We will see how the rest of the day/week goes, because things could always take longer than intended. All right, so I have 3 more works in progress. Let me just pull up the next one. So this is my next pair of socks in my Broadway play collection. If you are new here, my middle child, there we go. My middle child and my husband and I, we have 3 tickets to go see 5 different Broadway plays that are traveling through the Boise area. The first one we are going to see is Clue in November, and each of these 5 ones I'm making a pair of socks for myself and for my daughter. She does like having warm woolly socks in general. She's one of my only children who really likes my hand knit socks right now and is a huge choir person, so she's very, very excited about these plays. The first one is Clue. The second one we are going to go see is Beetlejuice. I am attempting to make a pair of socks for both me and my child for each one. I'm only on the second play, so I'm still working on not running out of steam. I did not really get a ton of work done on these over the last 2 weeks. These are using the Cascade Heritage yarn in 3 different colors, and I'm not very far on them. I kind of got obsessed with working on my twisted ribbed t-shirt because I was trying to see if I was going to be able to make all those stripes, and so this kind of got backburnered some days. I also accidentally cut my finger in the middle of cooking one day, and it was right there on my thumb. It made it really hard to work on some of my knitting, so that slowed me down. I am planning on working on these a little bit more as I finish the shirt and trying to catch up. I have until the end of December until these socks are needed, but I currently have just a little pop of green at the top and then 1 stripe of each in the rib, and then I'm planning on doing 5 more stripes before I do the heel, and I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset using the green for the heel and then keep going and probably do green toes. And the current plan for my daughter's socks, because we wear slightly different sizes, so each of our socks are coordinating but not matching. So the plan for hers is to have the entire ribbing be green, and that's going to be the big difference. So unfortunately, not a lot that you can see on these. I think they're going to be very, very cute. I was a little sad that I did not get them done in advance so that we could wear them to go see Beetlejuice, the movie, but it's fine. By the time I thought of it, it was like there was no way that was going to happen. So I do have 1 more pair of socks that I've been working on. These are ones that I actually ripped out and restarted. So it's using 2 different yarns, Boss Kitty Yarns in the color Snuffy, and Knitted Wit in the color Great Pumpkin. And that is this one. So I was originally doing these just fingering weight yarn, regular socks, but I hated the way they were going up. The way the color pooling was going, I had like half and half, where it was going to be like the front of one leg looked like one thing and the back looked like another, and I have had socks that came out that way before, and they were fine. I didn't like the way that was working out in this one, and I didn't know what I wanted to do about it, and I decided that what I wanted to do was hold the yarn double and do them as a DK weight sock. And I was not planning on restarting these yet, but then I did anyways. So I held 2 strands double and did a 1x1 rib for 15 rounds, and now I am working on the leg. It's definitely a denser fabric than I normally make with my socks, but I like the way it's turning out so much better now with the yarn. And I kind of simplified it for myself. I unwound the old sock, rewound it into one cake, and then I put on my yarn ball winder, the inside and the outside of that one, so that I have one center pull ball with both strands going. And as I was doing that, I could also see that the yarn was going to kind of blend a little bit better, where it wasn't always like the light colors with the light colors and the dark colors with the dark colors. And that gave me hope that I would not end up with a half and half sock again. So I don't make a lot of DK weight socks. I probably should have gone one more size up in the needles and one more size down in the sock pattern to get closer to the density of socks that I normally make, but I think it's going to be okay, especially since I want the slightly thicker socks as winter comes. And I think I'm currently at about 20 rounds on the leg. I'm thinking I'm going to do to about 25 to 30 rounds on the leg, maybe 35, because again, I don't make a lot of DK weight socks and I don't want to run out of yarn. So I would rather be conservative with how tall I make them versus go ahead and just go nuts and then not have enough to make the second sock. So that is the last knitting project that I have to show today. The last work in progress I have, I kind of thought I would have this finished. This is something I worked on when I had my thumb hurt for a few days after work. So this box is technically empty, but it's where it came from. It is a Hocus Pocus cross stitch kit. It's just this tiny little box. It was about $10, and it comes with 4 patterns and the threads to make it. My needle got left behind on my magnet. The cross-stitch fabric to make 3 of them, and then it came with 1 hoop to put that in. The hoop that it came with is a little bit small, so I actually am going to use a different hoop. But it is from the movie Hocus Pocus, so it's got that scene where they're trying to fly and they don't have all of their brooms anymore. So we've got a broom, a mop, and a vacuum cleaner. And I just thought it was really funny, the idea that I was going to cross-stitch and frame cleaning supplies. All I have left to do is some back stitching on the mop here and on the broom. So I will probably finish this very, very soon. And then I am planning on doing 2 of the other patterns from in here. One for my husband, who also really likes the movie, and then another one I don't know what I will do with, but I have the little fabric and the patterns. One of the patterns in it I didn't really like that much, so I could technically get other cross-stitch fabric and do that one also, but I just don't care enough to do that. It was just not my favorite of the patterns. There's definitely other patterns that even like from the outside of this, I think they could have done, and I would have really liked that, but I mean, obviously I like it enough. I'm still doing it. And who knows, maybe one day they will come out with more cross-stitch patterns for Hocus Pocus. If nothing else, I'm sure there's a lot of them on Etsy, so if I decide that one of these concepts, I really need to make it, I am sure I can find somebody who has designed it, because there's a lot of creative people out there. So someone has to have decided this was necessary. All right, so that is all of my works in progress and my one finished object for the day. I do have a little bit of new acquisitions to show. I am sure I will be getting more within the next week because this is the end of a month, and I do usually get my Yarnable within the first week of a month, so I am sure that will be arriving soon, but that will be a next episode thing because soon is not now. So I have my Trilogy Yarns Broadway Club. I think I have decided that I'm not going to continue to get this one because I'm not using them regularly and I just don't recognize enough of the plays. This is one that I did recognize the name of the play. I did not know it was a play. I knew it from the movie, but even then it's not a movie I've seen. So it is the musical Death Becomes Her. And I mean, when you look at that purple and that pink, I feel like they captured it really, really well. These are really, really great. I've worked up one of them, and I did like the yarn. I'm not using them fast enough, and I don't want to keep trying to store more and more and more yarn if I'm not super excited about it. So if you do know a lot more Broadway plays than I do, this may be a really good idea for you. but I just don't think it's going to be a good long-term one for me anymore. I do have one small thing that I picked up at Michael's. I got off work one day and needed to go to get gas. Where I was going to get gas, the Costco happened to be close to a Michael's, so I stopped in and I got a Loops and Threads crochet kit that is a little sloth planter. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to make him. I've seen patterns like this on the internet before and always thought about making them, and he was just so cute and it all came together. I will not use the plastic hook that it came with. I can guarantee that, and I will not be using that plastic needle it came with either. Those are ones that I usually end up putting together with stuff that'll eventually go to like a thrift store or something like that because I just will not use them. I have plenty of hooks that I like better. The last acquisition that I have is my Hand-Dyed Happy Yarn Club from So Happy Jane. Trying to make sure I don't accidentally show addresses. I did open this up and then I promptly forgot what the theme was. So the theme was Woodland Forest, and I had seen this inspiration picture online. I know that it is not going to focus, but hopefully you'll get some of the vibes. And it came with a pack of Oh Little Wren Woodland Friends postcards to color and a little set of color pencils with a sharpener, so that you can color your postcards and send them out. I'm not 100% certain what I will do with that. I'm not sure that I will ever actually color them, but we'll see. And then these were the yarns. And I do really like these colors. They definitely have that woodland friends and mushrooms and the forest in fall feeling, and I love that she captured that. Every now and then I think that I shouldn't keep going with this one either because I don't work through them as fast as I get them if I'm getting 2 every month. And then I think maybe I should cut it down to 1 every month so that I'm not acquiring yarn at the same pace. But then which one do I get? The tonal or the speckled? And it's so hard to pick because when you look at the two of them, I mean, they're so different. It's not like they coordinate together really well. These two would go really well together in a project that contrasts. And how would I know which one to pick? And I did end up skipping 1 month once, and I missed it and was right back the next month. So I just have to keep coming up with projects to do with these ones because I'm not quite ready to quit them. So that is all of my newly acquired yarn. That is all I really have of excitement right now. I do have a lot that will be going on over the next several weeks. So there may or may not be episodes that are missed talking about this. Next week I have a conference for work, but it will be a virtual conference. So that doesn't really require traveling or anything. And then the week afterwards, I have to work over a weekend, partially because I'm taking some time off for this conference. And then the week after that, I will be doing a half marathon in Boise. My training has not been going as good as I hoped it would. So I am going to finish and probably walk 99% of it. Which I am fully okay with. I've done half marathons before and I have never fully run one. I always end up run walking them. And that's the pace I go. And then shortly after that, I will be having another conference for work, and it's definitely going to be a very busy month coming up. In October, I have my birthday as well. And I'm not exactly certain what we're doing for that. I don't think we're going to have time to do anything extensive for that. But yeah, there is going to be a lot going on in the upcoming weeks. So after I am done filming today, I am actually going to film a backup video that I'm not sure when it will come out, but it will be something that I have available in case I don't have time to film, so I don't have extended time with nothing. And so hopefully it is one you will enjoy, but we shall see when it actually comes out. It could be in 2 weeks from now, or it could be in 2 months from now. We shall see. That is all I have for today. I hope everybody has a very happy making with the rest of their day.